المصطفى اللهم صل محمد وعلى محمد ولا الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا إله إلا الله جلال الجبار لا إله إلا الله عزيز الغفار لا إله إلا الله وحيد القهار لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له مسلمون لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له مخلصون لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له عابدون اللهم صل على مصطفى محمد اللهم صل محمد وعلى محمد ومتعد علي وبيت فاطمة وساتين سيدنا علي إمام حسن والحسين وصلي على زين العابدين ومحمد باقر وصادق جعفر وقادم موسى وريد علي وتاكي محمد ناكي علي أزكي أسماء السكاري هجة كايم وصابي وأسوأ الزمان اللهم أجعلنا من أسرار مهاجدين تحت اللواء قال الله تعالى في مقام كتاب عزيز بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والأس إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صلوات اللهم صل محمد وعلى محمد. Alhamdulillah, we have completed another blessed month of Ramadan. And inshallah, we have learned some things that we could take on with us throughout this year. In a riwayah, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he said that indeed the perfection of a Muslim faith can be recognized by the following 5 things. The first thing in which the Imam has said that not saying absurd things. We find that during the month of Ramadan, we refrain from certain speech. Our words we watched very closely because we understood that we was not only fasting away from food, but we was also fasting with our mouth. So we was conscious of what comes out of one's mouth. So we see that here the Imam said not saying absurd things. So as we practice this during the month of Ramadan, we should take this on for the rest of the year and also for the rest of our life to be conscious of what we say. To be conscious of what we say and to think before we say things. It's almost like when Amir Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam said he wished he had the neck of a camel. Why is this? Because once you put the words out there, you can no longer bring them back. But if you think before you talk, you're more conscious of what you say. And you know that you don't want to speak in any type of way that will hurt somebody or any type of language that is offensive, whether offensive to people around you or people that are not around you or whatever it may be. But any type of absurd language, whether it's bad talking, talking that's how can I say it? That's not good, period. Just put it like that. We all know what absurd talking is, or absurd things. Things that may take you away from the remembrance of Allah, words that are not considered to be godly words, or words that when people hear you say it, they may look at you in a different way. So we must refrain from not saying these type of words, because now we are coming out of the month of Ramadan and we was practicing not doing this. So it should be easy for us to continue on with this type of thing. Right? This is supposed to how that's supposed to be. Because we know that one of the 2 things in which we find in Riwayah, which we find in Hadith that said will lead a man to the hellfire is one is his mouth. One is the mouth. Will lead the person until the hellfire. So if we conscious and watch what we say and not talk in absurd ways or use absurd languages. And when we talk to people, we talk to them in a way we want them to talk to us. And we talk in a way that we want them to see us as good, godly, holy people, good, godly, believing Muslim people. Then we will be conscious of our words and we will not speak in words that are dangerous to how we may be seen or dangerous unto our soul. So we must refrain and not say absurd things. This is one of the things in which the Imam, he said. Another thing in which we have learned also during the month of Ramadan that the Imam said that he said. One of the things we are told that when people come to us, right, and they come to us, we are told to say, oh, I am fasting, to stop any type of quarrels. But here the Imam, he says, quarreling rarely. So not to quarrel, not to argue with people. This is something which is very well taken. Because we find that throughout the year, we may find ourselves always in arguments with someone, always arguing with each other, always having some type of quarrel with one another. Right? But during the month of Ramadan, we find ourselves not quarreling people, not arguing people, not doing the things in which we would normally do throughout the year. So as I said last night, we should find that the month of Ramadan is our springboard to making ourselves much better, and for us to be conscious of what we do, and by not quarreling with people, because only those who are conscious of what they do, they know that when it's time for people to come at them a certain way, they will step back and they will not reciprocate that type of energy. So the Imam, he tells us to really quarrel. Do not argue with people. Even this is very difficult too. This is hard. But we find ourselves in the month of Ramadan, we quarrel less or rarely quarrel. We just have to find that formula to be able to continue on doing this throughout our year. Throughout our lifetime. To put this to put the things in which we have done throughout this month into practice throughout this year. This is something in which we have to do, or not only have to, this is something that we should do to make ourselves get closer to Allah Azza, to be seen as good believers, not only in society, but in the eyes of Allah Azza. This is something in which we must do. The third thing in which the Imam, he said, having perseverance. MashaAllah. Having perseverance. To be able to endure. Now we notice that during the month of Ramadan, it definitely teaches to have perseverance to endure. Because we sacrifice the whole day and to stay away from the things in which we consider to be best to us, like good food, cold drinks, looking at certain things in which we know we shouldn't be doing, going places that we shouldn't go. So we preserve ourselves, we persevere by staying away from those things and become aware of those places and not places in which we should go to or things we should not do. So what it is that we should also have perseverance in everything we do. Because now, okay, for example, let me give you something. I remember some years ago, I get a phone call. They say, oh, Sheikh, I'm having problems fasting. I can't fast, right? It's so difficult. I said, brother, we're only an hour into the fast. How are you ready to give up already? We're only an hour, maybe 2 hours into the fast, and the person was ready to give up. Now, mind you, this is not a person that just started fasting. It's somebody like me and you that have been Muslim all their life and been fasting all their life. And within an hour, because he was so used to just indulging in whatever he liked, that when the month of Ramadan came, what happened was that he couldn't do it. He couldn't preserve himself. He couldn't do it. So we should understand that we should be doing this type of stuff throughout the year. So when the month of Ramadan comes, it's easier for us to be able to jump into this month. And it won't be like a certain shock to our body or a certain shock to our mentality that when we do it, we all of a sudden feel like it is a burden or a hardship or difficulties. We can't take it. I have to give up. No, because we was on preparing ourselves throughout the year that we are able to persevere throughout this month, like it's a walk in the park, as some people may say. Right? This is how the last month of Ramadan should have helped us for this month of Ramadan. And this month of Ramadan is going to help us for the next month of Ramadan and everything in between. Because these are springboards that help us throughout the year. This is a springboard that help us to get us closer to Allah Azza. Not to get us far away from Allah Azza, but get us closer to Him. Right? This is how it's supposed to be. Isn't it? This is how it's supposed to be. May Allah help us all. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asr inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa aminu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr wa akhir da'wana walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wa sallallahu Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين أحمد مجتبى أبي قاسم محمد مصطفى اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا إله إلا الله جليل الجبار لا إله إلا الله عزيز الغفار لا إله إلا الله وحيد القهار لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له مسلمون لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له مخلصون لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إلها واحدا نحن له عابدون اللهم صل على مصطفى محمد ومعتاد علي وبيت فاطمة والستين السيدين الإمام حسن والحسين يسر يا رب على زين الدين علي وباقي محمد وساكت جعفر وموسى وباقي السادة وموسى جعفر اللهم صل على مصطفى محمد ومعتاد علي وبيت فاطمة والستين السيدين الإمام حسن والحسين يسر يا رب على زين الدين علي وباقي محمد وساكت جعفر وقاد موسى ورد علي وتاكي محمد ناكي علي أزاكي حسن أسكار هديت كايم وسابي أسوأ الزمان اللهم جعل من وأساري مهاجدين تاتلوا قال الله تعالى في مقام كتاب عزيز بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إمام والأصل إن الإنسان لا في خسر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صلوات اللهم صل محمد وعلى محمد. Please excuse me. I'm still trying to get my bearings taken care of. As I was speaking before, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he has said there's five, indeed, the perfection of a Muslim faith can be recognized by the following five things. The first three things of which I was talking about, for those who just now coming in, are not saying absurd things, quarreling rarely, having perseverance. The fourth thing in which we also noticed that we was basically doing is being patient. The month of Ramadan helps us be patient because now we have to wait to be able to enjoy things like eating and drinking. And some of these things may take us all day to be patient about. Patience is definitely a virtue. Patience is something in which we all should be able to practice. Patience is something in which we are told to always have. One of the examples of we were showing patience is when we was talking about the discussion of dua, when Allah Jalla, when He waits to give you your answer. Or when I was talking about when the man that met Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he was talking about how long he had made dua, and he was patiently waiting for the answer. These are some of the examples in which we should take on ourselves and to learn to practice patience and to be patient and know that patience is definitely something of a good trait for the believers. Because we patiently await everything. We patiently wait for the salat. We patiently wait to break our fast. We patiently wait for our Imam of the time, Imam Mahdi, Ajah Allahu Ta'ala Farajuhum Sharif. So patience is something in which we should have learned during the month of Ramadan, because we have to wait and be patient and endure. This is another thing in which that we don't realize that we're learning during this month of Ramadan that can actually springboard us to the next month of Ramadan. To have patience, to be patient. This is a sign of a Muslim who has faith. He or she practices patience in whatever they do. Whatever we do, we practice the patience, and we learn this patience from the month of Ramadan if we have not learned it outside of that. Because we patiently wait. MashaAllah. The fifth and the last thing in which the Imam said, to be good-tempered. To be good-tempered. You know, we find that throughout the rest of the year, man, some of us, we have bad tempers. Bad tempers. But by the grace of Allah, we learn to curb our temper during the month of Ramadan. We learn to curb our temper, to be able not to get upset, to get angry. But we have to understand something that we hear in Riwayah, that when we become angry, they said the shaitan runs through your veins, your blood. The shaitan, because when a person becomes angry and his temper flares up, we find that this is a form of some type of insanity, because when a majority of acts happen or crimes happen through anger, the person does not remember what they have done after it has been done, because the temper, the anger overwhelmed them. And we should be of those who have good-tempered, be good-tempered, and not allow ourselves to become angry. Even though anger is something which Allah instilled in the human being, but we're talking about the good anger, the anger which He installed in us that people will not be able to take from us. When something is wrong, we speak out against that. This type of anger we're talking about. I'm not talking about this type of anger. I'm talking about the anger which affects others, that may hurt others, that may kill others, or may somehow make things difficult for you because of you having this. That people do not want to deal with you because they said, no, this person, he or she, their temper is horrible. We don't know when they're going to get upset, and when they get upset, we don't know how they're going to react afterwards. We're talking about this type of temper, not the temper or the anger which we have, or when we talk about when Imam Hussein alayhi salam, how he was treated on Karbala, him and his family. No, we're not talking about that type of anger. We're not talking about the anger which somebody try to oppress the people, like how they do with the people in Palestine. No, we're not talking about this type of anger. No, we're talking about that other anger, that anger that will hurt people. The Imam tells us to be good-tempered. And as our physician, the Imam, he knows what's right for us. He knows what's best for us. And one of the things that's best for us is to have a good temper, to be good-tempered. This is something in which we was practicing during the month of Ramadan. This is something in which we should continue on practicing and make this a part of our character, a part of ourselves. Make it become second nature upon us. That is nothing for us to be good-tempered, because now it is a part of us. It is not something that's secondary. It is something that's in us. When they say, tell me about Fulan, they say, well, one of the things in which I love about this person, that he or she, they have a good temper. MashaAllah. So these are the things in which we have learned during the month of Ramadan. These are the things in which the Imam said that indeed the perfection of a Muslim faith can be recognized by the following 5 things. But now it's up to us to take these 5 things and move them forward and build upon these 5 things and let them be perfected in us. Inshallah. May Allah help us all. وأقرأ دعوانا والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Jazakallah, Sheikh. Inshallah, we'll recite Ziyarat Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. But Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, please make an intention to read the ziyarat from on behalf of ourselves, on behalf of our parents or family members, those who have passed away, and inshallah ta'ala pray that we read the ziyarat in the shrine of Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salatu wassalam. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Rasulillah, Assalamu alayka ya ibn Amir al-Mu'minin, Assalamu alayka ya ibn Siddiqat al-Tahira, فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وتلوت الكتاب حق تلاوته وجاهدت في الله حق جهاده وصبرت على الأذى في جنبه محتسبا حتى أتاك اليقين. أشهد أن الذين خالفوك وحاربوك والذين خذلوك والذين قتلوك ملعونون على لسان نبي الأمي وقد خاب من افترى. لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين وضاعف عليهم العذاب الأليم. أتيتك يا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله زائرا عارفا بحقك معاليا لأوليائك معاديا لأعدائك مستبصرا بالهدى الذي أنت عليه عارفا بسلالة من خالفك فاشفع لي عند ربك. السلام عليك يا حجة الله في أرضه وسمائه صلى الله على روحك الطيب وجسدك الطاهر وعليك السلام يا مولاي ورحمة الله وبركاته. زيارة حضرت علي أكبر عليه الصلاة والسلام. السلام عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي ورحمة الله وبركاته. لعن الله من ظلمك ولعن الله من قتلك وضاعف عليهم العذاب الأليم. زيارة شهداء كربلاء سلام الله عليهم الصلاة والسلام. السلام عليكم أيها الصديقون، السلام عليكم أيها الشهداء الصابرون. أشهد أنكم جاهدتم في سبيل الله وصبرتم على الأذى في جنب الله ونصحتم لله ولرسوله حتى أتاكم اليقين. أشهد أنكم أحياء عند ربكم ترزقون فجزاكم الله عن الإسلام وعليه أفضل جزاء المحسنين وجمع بيننا وبينكم في محل النعيم. زيارة قمر بني هاشم حضرت أبو الفضل العباس عليه الصلاة والسلام. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع لله ولرسوله. أشهد أنك قد جاهدت ونصحت وصبرت حتى أتاك اليقين. لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين ولقهم بدرك الجحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا سلطان يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى يا الرضا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وزهورك. السلام عليك وعلى آبائك الطيبين الطاهرين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Ahsan, brother Hussein, taqabbalallah, everybody. Inshallah, Eid Mubarak. Spend the time with the family and enjoy this Eid. It truly is the month of Rahmat. Indeed, it's finished, but we are still in the Rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this day, especially the day of Eid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you abundantly. Inshallah, your ibadat, your namaz, your roza, and all these du'as that we and ibadat that we practice in the month of Ramadan is accepted by Allah. Indeed, a month of Ramadan is not about being hungry or thirsty or how many hours it might be, but inshallah, we will enjoy this day and Eid Mubarak and look forward to see you again. Iltamas Sada.
Eid Mubarak to everybody from me, inshallah. And please remember the people of Palestine and Kashmir and all the other places where they are suffering under the aggressive behavior of their enemies, inshallah.
يا كل عام وانتم بخير from brother Ahmed.
شكرا brother.
كل عام وانتم بخير brother Ahmed.
وإياك.
I think it's over.